Hello, welcome to episode 20 of the Wedding Help NI podcast. My name is Neil Thomas. Of course, Wedding Help NI is the largest online platform for all your wedding planning needs. My guest today is none other than Rebecca from Curvy Chic Bridal. Hello, Rebecca. How are you?
Hi, good, thank you. How are you?
I'm all good. I'm all good. So tell us what inspired the creation of what were you even doing before Curvy Chic?
So I have worked in the bridal industry. It'll be for 20 years this year, which is
Right.
terrifying. I originally started working as a hair and makeup artist, which I still do. But in around 2015-ish, myself and my now husband started talking about getting married in the not too distant future. And I remember saying to my mum at the time about it, I think me and Colin were sort of thinking about this. And she was like, where are you going to get a dress? And I said, in a bridal store, where anyone else would. She said, I've been watching these shows on TV. And seemingly when you're plus size, it's not that simple. I was like, what do you mean? She said, well, they don't really have plus size samples in store. And at the time, I was about 9 stone heavier than I am now.
Yeah.
And so we started to call around bridal stores in Northern Ireland, and no one had a dress to fit me. And so for some crazy reason, I decided I'd throw up a Facebook page, see if anybody was interested. And here we are. That was 2016, so 9 years later, and still going strong. We now do Mother of the Bride as well, bridesmaid from a 6 to a 46, bridal, wedding guest, everything. So,
And how have you found it? How have you found that experience?
It's actually been really, really good, because I think especially myself and Chloe, who mainly look after our brides, have both been plus size brides.
Yeah.
So we've been through the process of trying to find a dress and trying things on, and going through all that sort of anxiety and stress around the whole thing, which I think helps then when we're helping other brides. So I've really enjoyed the experience of, like, whenever I first started looking before we opened the shop, I went into one shop who said they would have a dress that fitted me, and they stood me in my underwear on a podium. It's worth saying the shop is now closed, but they stood me on a podium in my underwear and put a dress over my arms and just held it against me.
Right.
Because of course I couldn't fit it on my body.
Aye.
And I'm so happy that no bride needs to do that anymore, because they can come to us and they will have a dress that fits them. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I suppose as well, it shouldn't really, every bride's so important, and you want that's such a special moment, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
And I think the whole experience it can be a stressful experience for brides. So, you want it to feel really special.
Yeah.
You want it to feel really good.
You want to feel good. I mean, you don't often see yourself in that kind of clothing, like except for like your formal when you're at school. Men wear suits to all sorts of things, but women, we don't tend to wear big formal dresses very often.
Yeah.
So whenever you do see yourself, quite often people are concerned about seeing they're going to look silly, or so then to add on top of that, am I going to look silly, and is anything going to fit me?
Yeah.
It's not a pleasant experience. So it had to stop.
And that's so surprising. Like you were saying as well, there was nobody else like you.
No.
Wherever you were getting, you couldn't find anybody
Yeah.
that was sort of doing that. I'm sure like there are shops that sort of can bring in the dresses and stuff.
Absolutely.
But you're saying that's an awful thing to think that you had to go and stand and sort of to do that, like because it's such a, I suppose as well, if you're bringing like bridesmaids along, or if you're bringing anybody else
It'd
along,
be really embarrassing.
yeah, and there's a bigger thing to that, isn't there? Really?
Yeah, it can be really, really embarrassing, really demoralizing. And instead of a time that you should feel really good and really beautiful, especially because wedding dresses run quite small. So say somebody wears a size 14 and they're normal, like high street clothes, they're likely going to be an 18, 20, 22 in a wedding dress. There's no stretch, there's no lycra, there's no give in them. They're full of stiff bones. So if somebody is, say, a size 14 and they go to a regular bridal store and they don't have samples in an 18 or a 20, and their samples are a 14, they're not going to fit them.
Yeah.
And so they have this really demoralizing, awful experience.
And I remember even talking in our bridal shop on one of our podcasts, and they said the exact same thing. Brides shouldn't be concerned about.
You just can't look at the size.
The sizes. Don't think about the sizes. Don't be thinking, oh my goodness, I wear an 8 and this is a whatever size it might be. There's a fell Fred. I don't know. Size or anything, but don't be concerned about that at all.
Because every designer is different as well. So it's like in one designer you could be your normal size, and another one you could be 3 sizes bigger. In another one, you might be one size bigger. It's just all over the board.
I suppose that's down to the designer as such, isn't it?
100%. Each designer has their own size chart. And each dress as well, you've got to keep in mind that, okay, you maybe you would wear a fitted dress on a night out. So you think I'd like a fitted dress for my wedding dress. But your night out dress will have stretch in it.
Yeah.
So you get the size to fit your top maybe, but you've maybe got bigger hips and it's fine because it's stretchy. But your wedding dress isn't stretchy.
And
you've got a bigger size for your hips.
Even with the wedding dress, you're always going to book a seamstress. So don't be panicking too much about how it fits them on there and all, because the seamstress is going to make that look perfect.
Yes, they take it from being like a beautiful dress to absolutely perfectly enhancing your figure. Yeah. Seamstresses are invaluable. Definitely.
Yeah. So what advice would you give to brides who are maybe nervous about dress shopping due to body confidence? Is there advice there you would have? Because as I say, it probably is a stressful thing, but what advice would you give in that?
I would say research where you're going quite thoroughly beforehand. Yeah. There are, of course, stores that can, as you mentioned, bring in plus size, but that doesn't necessarily mean they have the sample in plus size. So you might see a picture on a bridal store's Instagram and it's on a slim model in the picture, and they do say obviously like sizes up to, whatever. You go there expecting to be able to try that on, but the sample is a size 10.
Yeah.
So I would say have a look through their social media, look through their website, see what dress they have available. And if there's specific ones you want to try, call and ask what size the sample is so you can ensure that it's going to fit you so you're not wasting your time going there.
I suppose as well, don't overwhelm that. What you're saying there is don't overwhelm yourself.
Exactly.
Maybe booking a lot of different places.
One at a time. I usually recommend one appointment at a time. Sometimes I know seems like a big fun thing,
engagement,
but it's
exhausting.
It's really exhausting, and it can just end up being decision fatigue. So we always recommend make an appointment, go to that appointment with the intention of finding your wedding dress.
Yeah.
If you don't find it, make an appointment somewhere else. If you don't find it there, you can make an appointment somewhere else, rather than making 10 appointments and then forgetting what the first 3 stores had. So you have to loop back around and do it all again.
Would you say maybe as well in the first appointment, would it be worth for couples maybe just bringing themselves, or bringing, maybe themselves and one family member? Don't do the overpowering, because maybe you could come back then and do, where you get your bridesmaids and all to your dress. Maybe for the first one that you're not putting yourself out there to
deal with that other people's opinions. Too many cooks in the kitchen.
Exactly, so many opinions.
We get a lot of people that'll come by themselves.
Yeah.
And just so they can try things on and see how they feel. And then they'll maybe book a second appointment to come back and have a look at the 2 or 3 dresses they really like with whoever they want from their bridal party. We recommend and we try to get brides to keep it to a maximum of 3 people to bring with them.
Right, yeah.
Any more than that. And why are you asking all these people's opinions?
It can become about too much.
It becomes too much because a lot of people will struggle to visualize you in the dress. They are then going, well, I don't like that, but it's not for them.
Yeah.
A lot of people struggle to separate that difference and visualize, okay, this isn't the dress I would wear, but it's perfect for Sarah.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And so then they might be like, well, I don't like that one. And then suddenly Sarah is like devastated because that was her favorite dress. But
exactly. So
her auntie's sister or cousin doesn't like it.
You have to be aware of, I think with anything now as well, you have to be aware you can pass a remark which could be in such good, it's not meant to offend at all. But if somebody's standing there, it's one of the most important things. Like a wedding dress is one of the most important things.
Yeah.
For a wedding, it's that,
you have to choose your words really carefully.
So just don't say, oh, I don't know about that. That's us, because somebody might say, oh, well, I love this, but they're going to think about that. Like it's
we usually try and kind of preempt when a bride really loves a dress by saying to the family, like as we go in, we love this one, so the guests sort of get an idea. Okay, the bride really likes this, so to be aware of that when she's coming in. I mean, we've had situations before where a guest has maybe been like, oh, that's stinking on you. And we're like, no, we're not going to talk like that. Don't make somebody feel that way. Don't talk like that.
Don't bring words on like that.
Yes, you can just be like, listen, that's not my favorite.
Yeah. I think that's great.
It's really important to keep that in mind and bring people with you.
Even for bridal parties and stuff, listening and, just be careful whenever you're in them situations.
And bring people with you that are really encouraging and positive.
Yeah.
That can give you an opinion that's maybe like, I don't love that one as much, but you know what? Like, you look beautiful.
Yeah,
you know?
How early in advance should I know I know there's always late weddings, so we can always
There's always
accommodate.
ways, yeah.
But how early in advance do you think's the right
Mhm.
time to be going?
To have the nicest stress-free experience, 12 to 18 months.
Right.
If you're hitting the 18-month mark and you think, I'm not really sure and I wouldn't mind having a squiz around a few shops, start then.
Yeah.
Obviously, if it's shorter time frame, there's always things that can be done. However, your options become more limited and sometimes there are rush fees, so it can become an additional cost, or you're then made to buy off the rack. And again, that limits your options.
Yeah.
So we recommend 12 to 18 months to give yourself a really nice amount of time to properly look, to feel like, okay, I'm really satisfied with my choice. I don't feel rushed. I don't feel like I'm panic buying.
Yeah.
Had time to think about this. I love this dress. Great. And so that you know it's going to be in well in time for your alterations. No stress. It doesn't take a year for a wedding dress to be made, but
Yeah.
it can take up to 8 months.
Right.
And then
right.
you've got to have time for shipping, and then you've got to have time for alterations. And you want it all finished and ready before your wedding day. You don't want the day before you still getting alterations done. So we factor all that in mind when we're saying 12 to 18 months is the sweet spot, I think, for
What way does appointments? I know as well for like for couples thinking about booking. What way does your appointment system work? Do you have to book an appointment, or how's the process? Just through that, maybe?
So we have, you have the opportunity to book an appointment for our private bridal suite. So our building used to be a bank. So we converted one of the old bank vaults into a bridal suite.
Oh, lovely.
So your guests go in there. We've had custom lighting and everything put in there. We can change the colors and everything to
You
replicate.
lock out of them, like you let them out.
Yeah, we let them out. And well, we'll see. If they're cheeky, we lock them in there. But we have custom lighting and everything in there. So somebody wants to have colored lighting at their wedding, they could also see what that would be like with their dress and everything. So we had a custom lighting set put in there. And then we built a custom bridal big fitting room as well. All of our stores also wheelchair accessible,
right?
With disabled bathroom and everything available. So when you go through that door into that bridal suite, you have a bathroom, your viewing room, and your bridal changing room completely to yourself. It's completely private. Brilliant. Nobody else. Everybody out the front can go and look at Mother of the Bride and all the rest, and they're nowhere near you. You're completely private for the entirety of your hour-and-a-half appointment.
Brilliant. I'm sure that's a very important thing as well.
Yeah, because there's nothing worse, even like if you're in the middle of changing in and out of dresses, you're in your underwear. Yeah. And so the last thing you want is somebody to walk past or somebody to open a door, or you know what I mean? At least that way you can be like, oh, can I nip to the loo quickly? And it's not a big deal. It's all completely private to you.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
We do offer walk-in appointments on weekdays only. And if we have availability, we can take you then and there. Otherwise, you can come back in an hour or two or whatever, depending on our availability.
Yeah.
But weekends and evenings are by appointment only. They book up so far in advance.
I suppose the appointments are important as well because it means you're dedicated for that.
Yes. You will have either myself or Chloe with you for that solid hour and a half. And we will go through everything with you from the second you walk in the door to the second you leave. We're with you to help you and guide you and also help your family too. And
is there styles that you would more recommend for curvier?
Yes and no.
Or what's your thoughts on that? Or
I believe that anybody can wear any dress.
Yeah.
However, I do understand that there are certain things that women with curvier bodies, like my own, may require. And so say, for example, and this can also apply to women with smaller bodies, but like bigger busts require more boning. They require more support, stronger boning.
Right.
Things like if you want to do a backless dress, you've got to bring that back in a little bit further to make sure there's enough support on the sides, which helps to bring the support round into the bust. Right. So there's those kinds of things that we think about when we're buying samples, that we make sure that, sometimes we'll see samples and be like, that's a stunning dress, but it's not going to work. And here's the reason why.
Yeah.
So when we are buying, we look for things that are going to work really well on curvy bodies. And also all of our collections are curve exclusive. So they're designed for plus size bodies.
Oh, very good.
A lot of designers will do, we do from a size 6 to a size 30, but the dress has been designed for a size 6 and then just made bigger.
Yeah.
But women that are curvier tend to have different proportions in terms of their waist to bust to hip ratio and things like that. So all of the designers we carry have been designed specifically for.
That's brilliant. I'm sure it's all harder for you to source, but I'm sure
it makes all the difference when you feel supported in a dress and you feel really good. And like, I'm sure I speak for all women when I say nobody wants to wear a bra under their wedding dress. So whenever you can get away with not, when the proper support is in the dress and you don't need to, it's just
Yeah,
glorious.
everything is set
Yeah.
right. Yeah. Is there any trends that you're seeing at the minute in
Mhm.
plus size bridal wear, or is there anything that you?
Something that's really been lovely to see this last couple of years is there has been less separation between plus size and straight size in terms of designs. A lot of designers that were designing for plus size before were designing very different styles to what was popular in the sort of straight size realm. And now a lot of that is crossing over. So that is what we'd like to see. Everything that is available to a straight size bride should be available to plus and
Yeah.
vice versa. At the moment, the biggest trend has definitely been the more plain A-line dresses with off the shoulder. That has been a big, big trend over the last sort of year, which is quite a different term. Before that had a lot of floral happening, and now we're going more into that sort of classic. Always reminds me of Runaway Bride, like that kind of.
Yeah.
Really, really
Very good,
pretty.
very good. So, what's the most common misconception brides have whenever it comes to wedding dresses for fuller figures? Is there any sort of?
I think the general idea is that they're going to be put in something frumpy, and there's certainly there are places where that is going to be the case. Because we specialize in curve and in plus size, we look for designs and styles that are really fashion forward, that aren't just, there had long been this kind of thing of if you were plus size, you kind of just got thrown in something that fitted you to cover.
Yeah.
Whereas we don't believe in that. I recently just designed a dress with a couture bridal house, Studio Lavana, and it's fitted.
Right.
We absolutely believe you should be able to wear whatever style you want to wear. And so we endeavor to make sure that we're including all of those styles and really fresh, modern shapes and things in our store. So that, I mean, at the end of the day, whether you're a size 12 or a size 24, or if you're a 30-year-old bride or a 25-year-old bride, you probably have the same fashion style.
Yeah.
So why would you want a different wedding dress?
Yeah. We sort of touched on at the start there about feeling confident, within your body and stuff. I suppose as well, you can make it, you want to give that confidence to a bride as well, don't you?
That's one of the major things I say, especially whenever it comes down to, sometimes brides will be like, I'm choosing between two dresses and I don't know.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, we need to stop looking at them and start thinking about how you feel.
Yeah.
Which one do you feel better in? Which one do you feel like, I don't care if anybody takes a photo of me from every angle.
Yeah.
I look and feel amazing.
Yeah.
And is there anything about either of them that's making you sort of go, and that's whenever usually it's like, okay, yeah, let me stop and think about it. That's such an important thing on your wedding day. Obviously, having been married myself, people will take pictures of you when you're not looking. You can't pose for every single picture. There's people, camera phones flying around
everywhere.
you.
It's just
photographer, your videographer.
It's a day of getting pulled from pillar to post.
Exactly.
To get all that
There's
stuff
going to be a photo of you from every single angle. So if you are like, oh, it's fine to take photos of me from the front, but I don't like this dress from the back, that's not your dress.
Yeah.
Because you're going to have photos from the back. You've got to make sure that you feel good in a full 360 in it.
Yeah. And of course, you do all things. You do more of the bride outfits. You do. So what all do you offer? Do you do the bridal party as well?
Yes, we do. We do. So we initially just started doing bridal, and then we started being asked by mums, could we help them get an outfit? So we were like, okay, we'll try. And so we started then sourcing mother of the bride.
Yeah.
And then we started to get asked about bridesmaids. And so we started sourcing bridesmaids. And so now we do mother of the bride, and we have a couple of different brands. And we also have bespoke options for people there as well. Our bridesmaids dresses are from a size 6 to a size 46. So that means all of your bridesmaids can have the same dress, whether they're a size 6 or a 30. It doesn't matter.
Do you find within the industry, is that something that's not maybe available everywhere?
No. A lot of bridesmaids dresses are maybe only available up to like a 24.
Right.
Some will be available up to a 30. But again, like your bridal wear, it's small.
It's different sizes.
So if you were normally wearing a size 20, you might need a 26 in a bridesmaid's dress. And if that brand stops at a 24, you're not getting it.
Yeah.
So that was one thing that we were finding people were asking, oh, can you help? I want my bridesmaids to all wear the same dress.
Brilliant too, isn't it? Because you never think about that too.
No.
So it's brilliant that you can offer that as well.
Yeah, we absolutely, that was a major one for us. And so we actually have our own range that we do, that we've designed ourselves in bridesmaids. Then we also have a couple of other brands too. So that gives us the flexibility in terms of sizing.
You would never want anybody to feel left out as well on the bridal party.
And they shouldn't.
No, definitely not.
No, not acceptable. And then we started to do wedding guest and formal dresses because again, we were being asked for them. Do you have anything nice I could wear to a wedding? Or
Yeah.
do you have anything nice I can wear for my hen party? So we brought in some hen party dresses. So we have kind of our occasion wear section as well.
Is there any other like sort of bespoke services that you offer as well? So through just the process, you come on for your first sort of
Mhm.
fitting as such, and you come on, and then what way does it work from there? Just go through the sort of process.
So with
What a
our
couple or bride should expect.
Yeah.
You know?
With our bridal, all of our wedding dresses are customizable. So that may be that you like the skirt off one and the top off another. Okay,
Yeah.
no worries. You like the sleeves off one and the bodice of another. Okay, we combine them.
Oh, brilliant!
So everything is customizable, right down to things like sometimes dresses will have deep V's, very deep plunges, and not everybody's comfortable with that. They can all be closed to whatever height you want.
Right.
We measure and we send the manufacturer the information so they know exactly where to do that to. You might be like, I really like this sleeve, but it's a bit long. I'd like it 3/4. No problem. We shorten it to 3/4. So all of that is done for you at production.
Aye.
So that dress arrives to your specification. And then you get your alterations for your length and your nips and tucks and things like that.
Very good. Very
All of our dresses are also available in a made-to-measure service as well. So that means, so I'm the perfect example of this actually, whereas I'm much smaller on the top than I am on the bottom. So if I had bought a wedding dress based on my largest measurement, that would have been my bottom size,
Right.
and the top would have been way too big for me. But I was able to order it to my bust, waist, and hip measurement, so
Right.
I didn't have to get the entire top altered in. It was already made.
Aye.
So I just had to get small alterations then.
I
to the
suppose that
length
makes a
and stuff.
big difference as well. You know.
Huge.
So it does.
Huge difference,
Mhm.
especially when it can come to things like myself, people have larger hips or people who are larger in the bust, but smaller in the hip, so it means then you're not having to get mammoth amounts of alterations done in order to get the perfect fit.
And where is it user based as well? Just for
We're in Belfast on the Hollywood Road.
right.
We're just opposite the Strand Cinema there, which
Oh,
is
right, yeah.
being done up at the moment. So
Aye.
yeah, we have quite a big storefront there. So that's where you can find
These
us.
are quite easy as well to get to.
Very
and
easy to
stuff.
find. There's free on-street parking, and there's also a free little parking lot behind us too. There's a million cafes up the Belmont Road, so you can go and grab something to eat after your
Brilliant.
appointment or before. It's a fantastic little area as well. There's loads of little shops and things you can nip into.
Brilliant. So Rebecca, let's get to know you now.
Oh gosh,
So tell us favorite film of all time,
The Grinch
The Grinch,
of all time,
right?
the
If
Jim Carrey one,
if you could be a cartoon character, what would you be?
The Grinch.
The Grinch. We're just going with The Grinch.
Yeah, every answer, The Grinch.
So tell us, what would your sort of favorite holiday be? Are you more like a spa, or what's your thoughts?
Oh, I like a 50-50 because the part I like to relax, and then once I've relaxed for a bit, I'll get restless. So I like to go on a
Right.
little adventure and then come back and relax for a little bit.
So it's a multi-city trip you're thinking
yeah.
then?
I need like a little bit of adventure, then take me to the beach,
Yeah.
to a spa for a few days, then bring me back.
Any favorite destinations or?
Favorite destinations. I loved Prague. I love
That's
Prague.
beautiful. So does it.
And I'm dying to go to Egypt. I haven't been, but I'm dying
Right.
to go.
Right.
Yeah.
So tell us, where can you find out about Curvy Chic Bridal?
Yeah, sure.
What's all your socials and stuff like that?
So you can find us on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. We are Curvy Chic Bridal everywhere.
Yep.
And we also have a website, which is curvychicbridal.com, where you can book your appointment online, times and everything that suit you. It's just easy to click through.
Yeah.
And we're very, very present on social media. People may have seen some of our funny TikToks. We like to
See,
do
you've
silly
been doing the
things.
TikToks. See?
Yeah, we like to do some silly TikToks. So we're a bit known for that. So stop by, say hello, drop a little like and a follow, and feel free to get in touch.
Brilliant. That was episode 20, Curvy Chic Bridal with Rebecca. Thank you so much, Rebecca.
Oh, you're very welcome.
And,
Thank you.
my name's been Dale Thomas. Bye for now.